Hello and welcome to Never Apart. This is your evening debate on your favorite channel. Of course, today on the debate, we'll talk about Chelsea's deal, Vlahovic for Lukaku plus money. Finally, Chelsea getting rid of Lukaku potentially. We're going to talk about Man United game yesterday. What did we learn from that? We're going to talk to Cass, of course, here with me. And also, we'll talk about, what are we talking about else, Cass? Are Man United overrated? What else are we talking about?
Oh, we're dropping that line, yeah. Yeah, and also Liverpool, new era, if people didn't understand. Van Dijk and Trent, this must be I don't know, I think it's a bit obvious. But Trent being the age he is and Van Dijk the age he is, it kind of shows the succession plan in Liverpool. That would be interesting. Also, you forgot one more thing, Colwell signing a 6-year new deal potentially. So, boy, hands off, right?
Hands 1-0 Chelsea already. 1-0. 1-0 Chelsea already.
He's locked up, but he's done. He's staying at Tottenham, man.
Akon, locked up.
Yeah. Akon, yeah. But yeah, man, Daps is not here. He's actually feeling quite ill. So yeah, kind of passed on from me slightly to him. So he's actually in bed, all cold up, ready to sleep. So yeah, man, he can't make it tonight. But he'll probably be back tomorrow, potentially. So yeah, man, it'll be us three. But still, kind of got like diverse opinions. You got man like Alex here. You could say structured feistiness, I would say, likes to hit with some facts and some opinionated facts as well, you could say. And then you got Mo with his hot takes thinking that James Maddison's better than Erdegaard. And you got me, who's more level-headed, of course. With a sprinkle of ban.
Wallahi comes the day that Cass calls himself a level-headed. Wallahi, this day it's...
More than you, Mo.
Not
I'll
really.
call it bubble-headed, but... Well.
Mo's a bubblehead.
Kind of. Yeah.
What was that, Alex?
Bubblehead. The bubblehead.
I mean, I got one up there.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, big up everyone in here. Make sure you smash the like button as well. I don't know how many likes we're on. Actually, I'm gonna ask Alex, what's the like count for today? What should we aim for? What reasonable?
I think Elon Musk is the ceiling. Let's hit the likes as much as Elon Musk has followers.
Wait, whoa, you want like 1 million likes? Hey, you heard it.
We start negotiated from the top, not from the bottom. We're not beggars. Come on, people, hit the like button, please. Come on.
I'll beg.
You know what, Cass? Let me start. Forget Man United. I want to start with something because the chat is already talking about my agenda against Arsenal. Forget this show. Listen, bro. I don't know why people think I have an agenda against Arsenal. I don't know why.
You have an agenda against Chelsea. That's for sure.
Exactly. So I have an agenda against Chelsea, Arsenal, and I'm a Man City fan because I work with Daps, and I'm a Man United fan because I like Onana, even though I call out their shit away form, and I said that if you don't improve, that you're not getting anywhere. And I have an agenda against Liverpool. Arsenal fans, you guys are so sensitive that you cannot take any criticism or any comment about your club, any comment, and it doesn't matter what it is. If we say anything, and Daps, big up Daps, of course, he said one thing to me earlier, and he said, if you say Rice is better than Havertz, Arsenal fans will ask you, why you're talking shit about Havertz? It's like, I just told you that Rice is good. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter what you say. You'll always be the guy with an agenda. And my takes, you guys think they're hot takes. Actually, I think they're very reasonable. And I back them with what I see from the football, with stats as well. But people just don't want to see it because they are blinded by the love for their club and following other channels.
Maybe. But yeah, man, I think there's a little bit of a Mo statement there. So there you go. Just say it and he'll just get rattled. But we might as well start with the main guy pretty much on the whole thumbnail and get a little bit more upbeat because Alex said he's pretty excited for this one. And we were talking about it, I think it was like 2.5 weeks ago, or maybe even 3 now, Alex, where we were talking about Vlahovic kind of makes sense for someone like Chelsea. And I think you can see from pre-season, as much as Jackson is this link-up guy, you don't exactly need him always as that person. You could also have it a bit more direct. You can switch it up. I think Vlahovic would be very good. You might even be able to use Vlahovic and Jackson in a 4-4-2.
Here's the thing about the Jackson. Jackson, if you look at him in La Liga, he actually played more off the left. He drifted off the left. He used his pace. He used his physicality. I think we could see sometimes Jackson and Vlahovic play together. I think it's a possibility. Anelka played with Drogba.
Yes, and Anelka played like right wing, didn't he?
Mm-hmm. And he's more techy than Drogba.
And Anelka's more techie than Jackson, let's be honest.
The thing about Jackson is that I see actually Jackson moving to the right side and having that striker spot for Vlahovic, because Jackson is technical. He can assist, he can cross, he can pass. He's very strong on the wing. I think he's fast as well, if I'm not mistaken, Alex. He's quick. So I think Jackson can be molded into the guy on the right side. I think he has more experience than Madueke. And at the moment, Chelsea don't have any right winger other than Madueke, because the left is Modric and Sterling, and the right side is only Madueke.
Sterling played on the right. He was better.
Well, to be honest with you, Sterling, bro, is...
I don't know. If it's a steel train to Saudi Arabia, I will put him on. But it's
I'm not. He's not. To be honest, he's not for me.
I never liked him in the first place, but we got him, and I think the way Tuchel played, you can use him the way Tuchel played him. But I don't know. I don't think it's that. But I'm not gonna trash on him either, because based on one season at Chelsea and last season at Chelsea, it's not the season to go by and remember, like, and evaluate all the players. I think he's not. I don't think he's going anywhere. If it was up to me, he'll go, but he's not going anywhere. By the way, Sterling, when he was playing with center forward, he always played on the right, not on the left. He played on the left only when he played without the proper center forward. With what's his name? With Harry Kane at the national, he always played on the right, and he was decent then. But I think this season will determine Sterling's career and end of the career.
Yeah, the way I look at Sterling is, I never, like Mo's said it, he's not technical enough for the left-hand side anymore. And I've always liked players where they can dumb down their game, especially when you got something like in a bank like pace and being direct like Sterling can. Off the right, I've been saying he's a right winger for years. This is the same thing I used to say about Rashford, yeah? A few years ago, like through lockdown, I've seen it before lockdown and everything, when he was more or less a kid. Even a couple of years ago, I liked Rashford off the right-hand side because I didn't think he was good enough off the left to go and do the correct job that we needed. If you're going to come off the left, go to get goals, but it was very one-dimensional, because when I saw Rashford as a kid, he'd be direct and take it to the byline. He stopped doing all that stuff because he's just too in tune to cut in and shoot. But when he went to the right-hand side and Marcel was fit in them days-ish and all that kind of stuff, he dumbed down his games, took on a man, went to the byline, and then looked up. That's the difference. You look up. You would probably see the same thing with Sterling when he gets to the right-hand side, like you could say against in your previous game. He looks up before he has to get into the box and looks up. Does that make sense? Because you dumb down your game to the point, all you got to do is beat your man and get a good crossing. If not, you can stop and do a Bernardo Silva and just cut inside and then weave in and out, because that's all he can do really these days, and maybe in this day and age. Off the left, it just doesn't look like it's it for him. But when you think about what Vlahovic can bring more than what, I think Sterling will link up way more better with Vlahovic than he does with Jackson.
Yes.
Got number 9 in the box, and even Mudryk. I think Mudryk will probably benefit off a Jackson more than he does a Vlahovic. Does that make sense? Like I would say Madueke might be the better option off the left-hand side because he's both fit as well. Sterling off the right when you got a Vlahovic, because all you got to do is be direct in the box. Correct? Am I wrong?
Yep. I agree with you. Another thing that benefits, one thing that everybody agree on it now, even Chelsea fans, Poch does not look at what's his name, at what's the French player, number 10, as a Nkunku, as a center forward. He does not. He looks isolated. I watched him in the preseason. He looks way too isolated. I don't. Igal, I see you. Congratulations on your kid, man. Congratulations, you had your first child.
Yeah, congratulations,
Yeah,
Igal.
but the rest of us still same. You still troll. But yeah, I think Nkuku is put to rest as he's as a center forward at Chelsea. I don't think Pochettino actually want him there. That's another thing that, which is
Do you know what the problem with that Vlahovic deal?
no
Before we
problem.
continue, is that
Don't make a
it's
problem.
too much. It's too much hope for the next season. You guys see what I'm coming from? Like Chelsea, even that, like I think because of the past 2 seasons at season and a half at Juventus, people slandered him a little bit. They were expecting higher output from him. They were expecting better from him. He still scored 10 goals, if I'm not mistaken, last year. But my problem with that deal, as much as I think that getting rid of Lukaku is the biggest win out of this deal rather than having Vlahovic. The Vlahovic is like you have to hope that Pochettino can get the best out of him again, as he was at Fiorentina in the first half when he joined Juventus, because after that he hit a dip, and people he actually sat on the bench sometimes for what's
Can I
his
ask you a
name?
question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Pochettino style of game more represents Juventus or Fiorentina?
No, absolutely Fiorentina for sure. But hear me out. The style of Vlahovic, he's more of like his touch is not great. He's a fox in the box. He's that guy that might like overpower a defender. You know what I mean? Like he's a bigger guy, good left foot.
He does not do
Yes,
dribbles. He
does not
finishes.
dribble great. His touch is not the greatest.
He's finisher.
My thing about it is that in Fiorentina, when I was watching him, everything was built to deliver him the ball. While I feel like Chelsea, the dilemma for Pochettino is that how to get all of these, I'm going to call them stars, because Vlahovic, believe it or not, he is with the Serbia, he's a star. He's a star forward with Mitrovic. Before joining Juventus, he joined for big money. And even now, they value him at 70 million, which that means they value him really well, right? He's not like a 20 million forward. Nkunku coming in as one of the stars of the Bundesliga. Jackson is kind of like a little bit like not unknown. So what I mean is that how can
He
you
is
integrate
unknown.
all of this with potential? You know what I mean? You have so many players other than Kunku, to be honest, that you need to rediscover their form. Like Modric after the season he played at Chelsea, the half a season. Sterling. Do you get what I'm getting from? There is so many things to rediscover the form other than when you look at Liverpool. Salah's established. Gakpo ended the season really well. Diego Jota coming back. You know what you're getting. McAllister, someone who had a really good season. Do you see what I'm getting from here? It's so much.
But the problem with
Let's
Liverpool,
rediscover that.
problem with Liverpool wasn't the forward last season. So why they have to
Yeah, yeah.
rediscover anything? The midfield.
No,
If they get no. I see your point, but you using point of forward position versus Chelsea's forward position. Chelsea had problem with forward position last season. Chelsea did not have a problem with midfield. For example, Liverpool never had a problem with forward line last season. It will be accurate if you use Liverpool midfield against Chelsea's forward position.
So let me give you an example. When Liverpool had problems in the midfield last year, when they went and signed 2 players, they signed Szoboszlai, who from Leipzig was really good last year. He was one of their better players. That means he was, in my opinion, he was one of their better players. McAllister, as another example,
Yes.
they signed a player that was established. Do you know what I'm getting at? When you go sign a player, sometimes when you struggle in that midfield, you want to sign someone that there is no hope. You think that he's coming in and he's hitting the ground running based on how he did last season. If you ask me, Vlahovic, can he rediscover the Fiorentina form from 2 years ago? Sterling, can he rediscover that form? It's a lot of questions marks. It's a good move, but it's a lot of question marks.
Yeah, of course it is.
Worse than last season. Nobody in that team could be worse than last season.
That's my point. Why is everybody puts everybody's career based on Chelsea's last season? Do you think, Mo? Seriously,
I just told you Vlahovic. That's not based on
yeah.
Chelsea. That's based on Juventus career.
Yeah,
Does that makes sense.
Well, based on Juventus, he killed it from the first half of the season, and then he stopped.
Yeah,
but
so you need to rediscover that form. That's my point.
Yeah. There's not a problem. You see, the beauty of this deal is that we have 2 strikers, Mo.
Yep.
And let me get this before the window was even open in the transfer market in the summer. If you would have told me that Chelsea is gonna go in the market and find 2 decent strikers for under 60 mil, Are you mad? And get rid of Lukaku.
60 mil.
And I know them wages.
Yeah,
He's on
because
that
we
free.
paid like 25 for what's his name? For
This is straight swapping it. Is it a straight swap? It's straight swap.
no,
No,
it's
no.
we added
There's
20
a-
or 30 mil. It's between 20 and 30
30.
mil.
That's
Yeah,
a lot.
this is-
When you think about it, when you think of Vlahovic's wage to Lukaku's wage, just saving money anyway. It's a sick deal.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
That
saying.
would
So
really
for
deep it.
me, Mo, just I know you love money. So based on the money, if
He
you
does.
think about it,
It's Inter Man fan.
yeah. So for me, if you think about it, like look at the market of the strikers this summer and put the budget, for example, of 60 mil. What do you get for 60 mil as a striker, decent striker? It's a big gamble to find it. Even what's his name? The guy, that Zora looking ass guy, plays for the whatever that Napoli. Even him, 150 mil, 150 mil. And I tell you what, it's kind of gamble too on his own, is it? Even get Osimhen.
Yeah,
So-
yeah. I'm just saying that there is so many things riding on Pochettino rediscovering people's forms. That's
Not
my
really.
point.
There's only two players that rediscover forms. It's Sterling and you can say Vlahovic because last season he wasn't good. But the rest of them, it's just unknown.
Mudrik?
Like,
No.
okay, what he needs to rediscover? He didn't he didn't have nothing to be rediscovering with. He was nobody player before that.
So why did you pay
talent.
that much money for him then?
How much?
I thought you paid about 90 million pounds package. for
Is that a
him.
full
About-
package? Are you like the money? Are we going for the full package? Are we getting those bonuses? Are we
So
getting
how much you paid for him then?
40 something mil
For who?
for Mudrik? The Mudrik money is 40 plus or 40 or 50, and then bonuses goes all the way up. So-
40 million pounds. You're telling me Mudrik is 40 million pounds.
Yes, the first thing was 40 mil, and if he reaches, all goes to the
Wait,
bonuses.
I'm seeing this. It's 70 million euros, 60 million pounds up front with 30 million
Okay,
euros,
60.
23,
Okay, 60.
23 million up in bonuses. So technically
It's-
83
okay.
million.
So are we talking about over 100 or are we talking about the 70? 62, thank you. I think it
Bro,
was
it's
62.
62 million pounds up front for someone you called
Yeah.
unknown.
Well, you say that. Look at what we just did. We done exactly the same for a
But
guy.
that's,
called
that's,
Haaland.
but that's
No.
my. But
No,
you
that's
see,
not the same.
No. Mo, you're right. But you're using a different word instead of rediscover. How he can be rediscovered if he's not accomplished player yet? We betted on the talent. That's what we
Yeah,
did.
okay. So yeah,
We
so that
did not.
means it's still
It's still
a,
unknown.
it's a gamble. Exactly.
It's a
I get
gamble.
it. It's a gamble.
I agree
So
with
it's-
you that.
So some players need to rediscover. Some players need to. You're like, to be honest, signing Enzo Fernandez isn't a gamble. Signing Caicedo isn't a gamble. You're signing someone who is. I see your point, but they are kind of more established than the likes of. Like even that guy Matson played in a championship. Madueke, for me, he's unknown a little bit. You know, Conor Gallagher.
Yeah,
Even though you
I
don't
agree with
like him, but Conor Gallagher is more established than these guys. He had 3 seasons in the Premier League.
100%. It's like I'm not saying like they unknown. I'm just saying in the how they developed as a complete football players. They're not complete football players yet. Even Enzo is not complete. He's still 21 years old. He's still plenty of time to learn. What the beauty of this thing? It's not about what you're saying that it's a lot on the Pochettino. I think Pochettino is one of those managers that actually thrives on those things. You know, like
Yeah.
Mo, like you know what you have like sometimes the job and people don't people say like I don't want you to have a really good history on this job. I want you to be brand new so I can mold you into the job the way I want. I don't want you to have previous experience in this job. I think Pochettino is one of those that he likes
yeah.
to mold the team.
So yeah. So Cass, about Vlahovic, just the last thing before we move on from Vlahovic. How do you think his role will be in the team? Is he going to be the first teamer up front? Is he the one that is coming and starting every game now? Or it's going to be a rotation? Because there's no rotation. There's no European football there. It's just only Cups and Premier League.
Just depends on the match, I suppose, isn't it? I can't actually say who's going to start and who's not. But if you're basing off pre-season and who's already molded into the squad, Vlahovic is going to have to hold that bench until he can displace Jackson. You know, it has to be that way. It's a bit like Casemiro when he first come in. Scott McTominay, for somehow or some reason, was playing extremely well, and then it goes to Man City and he gets battered. You know, it's just one of those cases, and he'll get subbed on. Vlahovic has to take his chances, and hopefully Jackson gets benched for him. It just depends. Some matches suit different players, you know, and or even might even play with Jackson. You never know. You know, that's
in my opinion, I actually think that Vlahovic, if he comes to the team, he's gonna start right away, just because of experience playing at Juventus and having more experience than Jackson. I haven't watched a lot of Jackson based on what I've seen in the preseason. A lot of potential, has every attribute to be a top forward in the Premier League. But Vlahovic, even though he had a bad season, I think the name is enough for him to start. Some names, we know that some names are to start until proven the other way. You know what I mean? Like Sterling kept starting even though he wasn't putting good performance because it's just Raheem Sterling. That's how I feel it's gonna be. Like Declan Rice, like he has to start for me. It doesn't matter if anybody else is performing. It's just some people just have to start.
I think that what's his name, that Pochettino comments was pushed aside like it was 2 weeks ago when Pochettino was asked after the preseason game, like about the striker, how good what's his name, the front players start to play, and he's like, yes, all good, nothing to, but if the owners will like to add something different way, he will be appreciated. And bam, week later, this happens. So I with you on Vlahovic, but I'm not disregarding Jackson either. I think it's a competition for the first place. That's all it should be.
100%, guys. It's over 500 of you here. Hit that like button for us. The like button is the button that pushes us to the next person, so we keep the content coming your way. It's free. It doesn't cost you a penny. This is a free content, but all we ask is just for you to hit that like button. It looks like a thumbs up underneath your live chat. Get me to 300 likes. It will help us push to the next person. Let me get that super chat that is here. Get your questions in if you want, of course, with super chats, or if I can catch a question, I'll put it on. Go for elite midfielder now and sign Tony in January.
Well, I think Man United might go for Tony. If Kane goes to Bayern Munich, I think Man United's going to be all over. I don't think Chelsea will be in for him. If they go get Vlahovic, there's no point.
Yeah, if we get Vlahovic, no.
I think it'll be between.
I would have done that. I would have done Tony. I like Tony, but it's not 100%. If Man
United doesn't sign another striker, then I think Tony's kind of nailed on for Man United. I'll be real. Or Arsenal potentially, maybe. Yeah, I would say so.
I want to move into the juicy part, which is Man United. I'm going to start with something we spoke about earlier. Onana screaming, Onana yelling at Maguire. Agbon Lahore on Talk Sports called him out, said, "Why you're picking the easy target?" As a Man United fan, how do you think? How do you see that comment? Because that comment got a lot of praise somehow from the English media that Onana is doing a PR. Onana is just targeting the easy target, Maguire. How did you see that?
This goes to tell you everything you need to know about someone like Harry Maguire, right? I mean, like everyone shouts at each other on the pitch. It's nothing new. It's just that people like Gabby Agbonlahor is just a top nerd and wants to scream about everything about Man United.
Was he actually streaming at Maguire? Because I didn't see it.
It was, yeah.
Yeah, he was.
So I can't remember what it was. He made a good save from someone, and someone gave away the ball.
I remember the moment.
And then Lindelof messed up as well. He was screaming at both of them. So it wasn't just one. And then you got Gabby Agbonlahor on TalkSport talking crap, right? And he's having a massive pop at Onana will never know your name, mate. Like, he doesn't care what you say. Trust me. He doesn't know who you are. He doesn't even know how many goals you scored. I don't know what we did to Agbonlahor, to be fair. He just hates Man United, and agendas must agenda, right, Mo? So it is what it is about that. But what I didn't get from yesterday is how the hell is the B team playing better than the A team? And that's the whole part. And now it makes it's maybe it's a bit of an overreaction, but I look at that game and I'm thinking like, right, like, are we really overrated? Like, are we truly overrated? Like, honestly, like I'm seeing this Casemiro, Mount, and Bruno, and I'm like, to be fair to Mount, we didn't even give him we didn't even play the ball into him at all. You got Bruno trying to cover Mount's position. And like, Bruno, what are you doing over here? Fuck off. Go over there. You know, like, leave it alone. Like, he just wants to occupy everyone's space. And then you look at Rashford. I think
don't do that, Cass. Don't do that.
No.
And attack Bruno Don't do that because he's the new signing. Call it as it is.
Who?
You just said that it's Bruno's fault that he's covering Mason Mount. Mason Mount was the highest guy on the pitch.
I didn't say Bruno. What?
Easy? No,
What?
I watched the game. He wasn't.
What?
I actually with Mon, with Kaz on that. I think what's his name was coming back. He shouldn't be. And I think there's a what's his name? What's his name?
Bruno was coming back to get the ball sometimes.
Yeah.
And I believe that's his job.
I don't think so.
I don't know, man. I just don't
That's
think
how we disagree, me and Kaz. I actually think that Bruno is the one who's going to drop a little bit deeper and Mason Mount is going to be behind the striker.
I'd rather.
Oh, I don't think that is. Because if you look at it, I think if you look at it, sorry, Kaz. I think if you look at it, what's his name? Mount was playing beside Rashford. So tell me how he's supposed to.
He's going to be higher on the pitch.
No, you don't get it. Rashford, if he loses possession, who's covering?
Yeah, but Mason Mount's job is to be kind of the second striker, be the guy around the 18, getting on cutbacks, getting at the end of crosses. But Bruno is more of a controller. So I understand why Bruno would drop more to try to control the ball. Imagine if you put Mason Mount, so you get the better out of both, right? Who's more better on the ball control, Mason Mount or Bruno Fernandes?
Bruno Fernandes.
Of course. So who would you want to have closer to the midfield, closer to the defenders? It's definitely not Mason Mount.
I'd rather Mason Mount more than Bruno.
But who's getting the ball from the defense to the offensive part?
I'd rather be Mason Mount than Bruno. That's what I'm trying to tell. I don't want Bruno nowhere near my defense. That's what you don't get. I've seen this guy live. I've seen him give it away. I don't really see. I think Mount's a little bit more nippy in them areas as well. I just don't want Bruno back. It's not even a point. The point is, Onana was our most creative player from all the way from the back. If Rashford could have had a hat trick in the space of 10 minutes. That's just from Onana alone.
Can I tell you what I noticed about Mason Mount? He actually does what he does best when he was first at Chelsea, like the first couple of years. He looks for the forward real quick. He looked for the Rashford a lot. He doesn't hold on to the ball, and he did what he's supposed to do. Rashford didn't finish. If you look at it, he touches and he passes. The problem with the whole situation with Mount, they're such a similar players if you think about it. But none of them are actually good to be playing beside Casemiro. They both same
a very,
players.
very good statement. Very good statement.
But none of them are actually good to play right beside him because we played Mount in a pivot. He cannot, because he has no ball retention whatsoever. Bruno is even worse in the deep one. You know, some offensive players, you stick him on top just because you're afraid if I lose the ball in the deep, you scored on. That's what I think about both of them.
I just don't.
Go back to Onana. I want to go back to Onana. Go back to
Onana.
Why? You just want to hear him praising him?
What I don't understand about this, the only thing I don't understand about this situation is that it's not that Man United play poorly. It's just that the A team that came on just didn't up the gears from what the second team gave. We gave them every single goal and every single opportunity that they had. It literally come from us. And if Man United want to play this expansive football, you're gonna have to play with risks, and these risks and it's probably going to expose a lot of players that are not actually that good. Like maybe Wan-Bissaka can't play in this system potentially. I don't really see it. I'm seeing fullbacks going high and wide. I'm thinking like, wait, I see the centre-back talking with Casemiro sometimes, but then it kind of leaves it exposed in a way when you play a long ball cross pitch. And another part of it is like, I thought I was going to see Delo or Luke Shaw talking next to Casemiro and let the fullback tuck in and let the attackers do the work. I just don't know what I'm actually seeing at this moment in time. Like, I'm just trying to work it out still. The only thing positives I can figure that game is like Sancho looks absolutely fit as a fiddle, and he looks like he's fit as a fiddle. Like he really wants to break into the starting 11, whether that's centre forward or wherever. Anthony is still not good enough in my eyes. I haven't been impressed whatsoever. He's shocking. He kills every single counter attack, but I'm still willing to give him a chance because yes, it is only pre-season, but you've got to be giving me something, right? And then I look at other around the pitch. I'm seeing Delo performing yesterday, and then a couple others. Who do I mention to you, Mo?
You mentioned to me Donny van der Beek.
Yeah, Donny van der Beek was picking up good spaces. I don't really want him out the team, but he was one of the better players, and he shouldn't be. And there was another player, and I can't remember from the B team.
You mentioned Delo. You mentioned
Pelestri. That's what I want from Anthony. Why are you not doing that? You've got the speed. Why is it every time the ball comes up, you have to be so scared? And it's just, I don't know, man. It's just, luckily we got Wolves at the start of the season. That's all I'm going to say. It's lucky.
Aaron Wan-Bissaka yesterday was shaky when he came on second half. Dalot looked better, which is, to me, is like, bro, you have been playing all of last season. Why are you getting worse again? Why are you getting worse again? Listen, to be honest, Man United, I read a lot in preseason, to be honest, especially with new players. And I said that many times before. If team is established like Arsenal, I wouldn't read a lot in the new season. Chelsea, I would. Man United, you signed a couple of players. There's Hoyland. I don't know if Amrabat is coming in. To be honest, it looks shaky, in my opinion, and it's scary. If you're a Man United fan, you should be a little bit worried, as you are. You're like, okay, yeah, we play from the back. We got the goalkeeper, but we don't have the players to complement that. We don't. So what's the system? You know what I mean? Yeah, we fixed that. We got the striker, but everybody else other than Sancho looks like a step behind. I'm not gonna read into Rashford's situation yesterday. From what I've seen, his first touch wasn't the best, especially on long balls, as you mentioned, Cass. Like Harry Maguire is awful, shouldn't be in the club, to be honest. Yesterday, other thing that I saw is that, okay, Lindelof, you're so shaky. You cannot even be a third defender now. You cannot even, like, if Varane and Martinez get injured, you couldn't be, you can be great. You're telling me, Cass, that it's because Maguire plays next to him. Yeah, but that doesn't justify the passing. That is just wrong.
You can't get further up the pitch the way you want to with Maguire on the pitch. That's the only issue. It's just going to.
I don't think
was
Maguire is
completely
the
off.
only problem in that
No,
scenario.
he's not. A lot of these lot are frauds, and it still is fraud. You can see from the options alone are frauds. Like I got a feeling if this expansive football don't work and Amrabat comes in, it's probably is true. What Mo said all along, it's probably going to be Amrabat next to Casemiro, and someone's getting a hold in bench. And you know what? That right hand side, it might be true. Bruno might end up back in the right because Anthony stinks. Unless Sancho can get his act together, you know, and keep this intensity going up again. But the last point is no number 9 in that box. Again, you can see it yesterday. It kills. It just kills the instinctive anywhere to be in the box and sniff out where, you know, a good number 9 would have saw that Rashford chance where he cut it back and Mason Mount missed it. Striker's getting that. Or he's dragging away another centre back at least, or another defender where you can go put the ball away. And it's actually annoying. It's actually really annoying. I thought Maguire was actually decent yesterday. It was the Lindelof that was really the issue.
Yeah, I think the problem the way that you want to play is not only in the center back. Center backs is one thing to play after back, but the midfielders needs to be asking for the ball from the defenders, which is weirdly, but Casemiro wasn't the one that actually like asking for the ball. He wasn't the one that split in the press, which is weird.
Alex, he was never that guy.
Yeah, but if you want to play that, wasn't that you should be the if you, for example, if Ten Hag looks for that kind of style of the game, based on how everybody keeps telling me, won't you be the one that first look for the midfielder? Because Amrabat is not that kind of midfielder either. I can tell you that. So
he's more pressure. He would suit the expansive type because he's doing it in Fiorentina. Like you could see, like even Morocco, he would suit because he can play it by himself and keep the ball a lot better than Casemiro can. But at the same time, you could probably lose that little bit of defensive edge because obviously Casemiro is the best at the defensive part of the game.
This is why I actually I couldn't stand Jorginho as a player. But one thing I give him a credit: he was never shy to look for the ball. He was always, as much as I lost my mind on it, he was the one that always helped the defense to play after press. And for that reason, I think Man United, it's not as close to be the way they are as people think they like it is going into the season. I think it's a big gap the way you want to play versus what you have at this moment. It's a big gap for me.
That's why I don't understand the Mount signing. Listen, Mount adds to the squad, but
that's expensive.
Like, as a starting 11, as a starting 11, does he really suit what we're hearing and what we saw at Ajax from Erik ten Hag? Short passing, quick passing, playing from the back, like, you know what, like dismantling the opposition but just passing around? No, he doesn't. So I'm not understanding this 3 midfield: Casemiro, Bruno, Mount. I'm like, I don't get it, to be honest. And I saw it yesterday in the second half. Like ball retention is like zero. They chose for Onana to play the through balls instead of one of the midfielders.
Another issue with this again, like say a striker. Who said it earlier? I think it was IQ Insane or something like that. I'm gonna try to find a comment. You lot just talk too much in these comments. A striker won't fix the piss poor passing. Actually, it kind of does in a way as well, because when you boot the ball up somewhere or want the ball held up in the middle of the field, who's doing that for Man United right now? No one. No one to link up the play properly. You know, don't get me wrong, Sancho was there, but that's not his game. You know, and when you got a striker that wants to, you know, hold the ball up, pass and go, that's what I'm saying. When you got no vocal point, Man United's got no vocal point. What's the point of expansive football if you got no vocal point? You can't do a Tadic in the Premier League. We're not this Man United team anyway.
Here's another thing. The midfielder that you need and the midfielder that you have, they are too big of a space between each other. Casemiro cannot do all those crosses to Mason Mount and through the balls all the time. You will find out real quick, and you get countered. You want to play fast ball with Ten Hag. But
that's what we think, Alex. The problem is that's what we think. Maybe
that's
he
the
will
only thing that makes sense.
Yes, but maybe he will continue in the same trajectory. At home, control the game. This is Manchester United at Old Trafford. Control the games, kill teams. Away from home, he will let teams press, and then he will play behind the press. Maybe it looks like Mason Mount suits that, Højlund suits that, Onana suits that. You know what I mean? Everything that he's buying suits this. And
I just didn't think
maybe
that
we're just delusional. Maybe we're delusional thinking that Ten Hag wants to play position-based football every game.
I guarantee at home, Man United still will be the same team looking like last year. Probably no issues, probably very good. It's just going away from home. That's making me think, what's going to happen? Are we going to leak goals again? Because if we play this way, it's very naive to play this way away from home against decent teams. And when I mean decent teams, I'm talking about the Brentfords and everything. You can't play this way. You get battered. You get punished. And that's the truth of it. And that's where I want to see what other options we got when we go into these sort of games. Otherwise, we're not going to be beating the top 8 or what is it, top 9 or something like that again. That's the way I look at it anyways. And this is what
people.
I hate to say it, and I hate to say it. I don't want to be relying on an 18-year-old called Kobbie Mainoo to be given what we need either. Because he shouldn't be rushed in. And as bad as it says, Casemiro, Mainoo, and Bruno is a more balanced midfield than any other option that we got.
That Mainoo kid is decent, actually.
I like him. And I think he's going to have a lot of game time, but I don't want to rush him. That's the only issue.
Now, I believe you now.
He's going to get injured.
Based on what I saw yesterday, I think this guy might get more game time than Eriksen. Because Eriksen looked atrocious yesterday. Atrocious, bro.
Eriksen's contract will just run down and he will just end up leaving or something like that. And it was good for what we need. And it will still be good for us next season in moments when we need him to control a game and see out a game, you know, if you got most of the ball and all this kind of stuff. But yeah, man, I think it'd be unfair to overuse Kobbie Mainoo next year because I just think you'll just ruin it. You might even alter the ego a little bit when you don't need to, you know, because he thinks he's better than the next person. The last thing you need to do now when you got Kobbie Mainoo thinking he's better than the other person, Mount and all these people, that it causes issues. But I think he seems like a really nice, grounded kind of person. So I don't think that would be, not with Ten Hag anyways. It's just getting the goals. That's it. If Man United might have to just outscore teams if they can. Good luck.
I don't think only goals is the problem for United. I think the space between the space is too big. As good as defense you have, the space between in the midfield is too much space for the opposition to go have a run against the defense. And if you let the offense run against you, you will be beat. I don't care how good you're a defender, you will be beat because speed versus defense loses more chances than not. And I think the gap in the midfield for the offensive for the other teams, it's too big. I don't think it's gonna happen. I don't think it's sustainable. Let's say it that way.
Yeah, that's a better word. It's not sustainable either. I agree. I hate to say it. I've been critical of other teams in preseason. I have to be critical of my own. I just expected way more against a poor Dortmund. They were poor and unfit. Another team that was unfit. And I think that probably comes from a lack of minutes as well. Like you got to start playing your best 11s, which we're going to see. Man United's got 2 games, Saturday and Sunday, one at Old Trafford, one at wherever else. and he's going to obviously play a good team and probably a B team. And then that'll be the last games before the season starts. Well, I just don't know, man. United, this expansive football's getting me a bit worried. Maybe I'm not used to it. Maybe it'll work. Maybe it won't. But I can just see us getting pammed in some games.
I don't think Ten Hag was actually always going to looking for. I think it was more like the physical, like the pressing team. Like I said, Mason Mount is the best thing of Mason Mount done at Chelsea. He can press team, and if you make the team that presses, he will make the opposition lose the ball in the danger zone, where your offense team can use that as a benefit and can score. That's how Mason Mount did well at Chelsea. When they pressed, he can make the people and they lose the ball in his zone. You score then. That's the best Mason Mount that I've done at Chelsea.
By the way, guys, there's 660 of you in here. 50 of you haven't liked this video, at least minimum. And you know who you are, especially ones that are commenting right now. If you haven't liked, just a little friendly reminder, if you don't mind liking the video. But yeah, man, the last part is just who's looking actually strength to strength. And they've got 2 new captains, and it's looking like a new era at Liverpool as it's spawning. Liverpool. Virgil van Dijk is the new captain, as we all kind of guessed. And the second one is Trent, even though some fans wanted Trent as the new captain. And when you think of Liverpool and who's going to be, we don't know who's going to be the successor for Salah or anyone like that. But right now, they are playing some decent stuff. They smashed Leicester, rightfully so, in good fashion as well. And Trent inverted might be what we're going to see next year, especially if they go get another centre-back, which they're looking likely to go grab. Some people think it's Vardio. Some people's going to think it's going to be Inacio. They're going to go grab someone and maybe another midfielder. And the way I look at Liverpool, they have the capability already of outscoring any team in the league anyways, if they really wanted to get down to it. It's just sorting out that midfield problem. And when you deep it for next year, at this moment of time, they look quite cohesive, So I think they're going to be a really good threat. And you can see who's going to be taking over. So Trent's got more responsibility in his plate, and that means he can't be throwing his toys at the pram anymore, which I don't think he's going to. And you might see a more refined Trent, which is kind of scary to think about,
I think Trent is going to play in the midfield this year. It's not going to be inverted shit. It's going to be Trent in the midfield.
Because they're not signing a midfielder. Not because
they will sign a midfielder. They will sign a midfielder. That's for me, the problem. I've been vocal about this. If they sign Lavia as a midfield next to Trent, they still have Thiago. Thiago and Trent on the counter-attack are too slow, right? And Liverpool are going to press. Thiago is good in interception, but still he's not a destroyer in the midfield. I would love them to go and get Palhinha next to Trent, someone from that caliber. And I think they should sign a left centre-back, which is they are linked to Gavardiol for a reason. People don't believe it. People don't want to believe it. There is Inacio, as Cass said, and I think Robertson whole bench. Their forward line looks scary, to be honest. It looks absolutely amazing. Cody Gakpo, I watched him in pre-season. He looked like someone who has been playing for Liverpool for like years. He's like dropping deep, getting the ball, turning, passing, 1-2s. He looks so good. Mo Salah looks sharp. The assist, the passing, everything looked good from him. And I think even Nunez, which is I can't believe I'm saying that, his touch looked better, which is I don't know from where did it come from. Luis Diaz is the one that had scored the goal, but he kind of like had a lot of criticism.
Wait, he hasn't scored a goal. Wait, he scored that
goal. He scored the goal. I said he scored the goal, but he had a lot of criticism, losing the ball, decision making. People complained about it, and I saw it. He's a little bit selfish, which is something that you like to see in a forward sometimes if you are effective. In my opinion, Liverpool going forward will be scary, but in the defense, looking at Matip and Gomez, who look like a right back, like he's not a center back, if they don't sign a center back to cover, I think Konate missed 13 games last year. Imagine if Konate gets injured and you have to play Matip again. I think that would be a problem for them.
I thought Colwill was here we go to Liverpool.
He's a Liverpool player already.
Oh, damn.
No, he's a Liverpool player already.
The kids went 3 years back into his mom's chat just to show how, because his mom was a Liverpool fan.
He's a Liverpool supporter. 1-1.
I can't. Liverpool is one of my hatest team in the world. I can't stand them.
Why? When you
Right,
think
yes.
say Trent's going to go in midfield, but then who's going right back? They don't have no cover there.
There is
Those
no
are-
right back. There is a reason why they are linked to a third centre back. So the problem with that is that when you play Robertson as a left centre back, he's not good in long balls, aerial duels. I think you disagree with me. I think Robertson is more of a flying back, the one that does the overlaps, the one that does all the work going forward. I think Robertson as a left back, as a left center back, isn't great. Like I would prefer a similar profile to Ake, Gavardiol, someone like Colwell, even as a left center back, someone left-footed big guy who's more focused on defense than going forward. And you let Trent do his job in the midfield next to a DM, because Trent can control the ball, but we know Trent can't defend. So if you play Trent by himself, it's not going to work. There is no right back. It's Konate covering that side. And as long as Van Dijk has someone to his left that can do the job, I think these three can do a really good job in stopping attacks. This is how I see it, which
You
is
see, I disagree with you because every football is going to be found out. Every system found out by opposition, and nobody sits and not doing the homework. What happens is team will find out that Trent not only like going to be like, oh, you thinking what he's like what he's good at, not his mistakes and defensive awareness didn't go away because he moved to the midfield. They didn't. So, for example, you can press the team, you can press the hip. What happens if you press Trent? You don't have to have a possession. What will
so.
happen if you press Trent? Do you
So the
rely
way
on him on
so let me explain to you so how I think that. So the way Liverpool play is that they pin the team back. They give the midfielder a lot of watch the last 7 games they played. They try to pin the team back. Trent will have time on the ball, especially with a competent DM next to him. Trent is a smart player.
Yeah.
I think he's a brilliant player. Smart players with good coaching can find spaces, right? And he's learning. I'm sorry, in the midfield, he's learning from Thiago, who is best in finding the pockets, finding the spaces and the turns. Trent might not be press resistant, but I believe that someone like Jorginho, who's not press resistant, was always great in finding that 2 yards around him to be able to play the next pass. Jorginho is a weak player. He's always finding that 2 yards around him, left and right, to play that next pass. He knows his next pass before the ball arrives. Trent is a smart player. He will find the spaces to get the ball from the defense and be able to distribute. I've seen it in preseason. I've seen it in the last season. And I think it's going to happen. Trent, if he plays that right back again, he will get attacked from that side. And from what I'm seeing, Salah has been holding the line really wide, doesn't leave space for Trent to overlap. Salah has been receiving the ball very, very wide because Szoboszlai and McAllister can go forward with the ball, can occupy around the 18. That's how I think they're going to play. I don't know how Klopp is going to play. I'm just going off what I've seen in preseason and what I have seen over the past 7 games or 8 games that they played over the last part of the last season.
Again,
Unless Cass tells me that Klopp only knows one thing, is he going to go back to it?
I think no. I think
as I've been seeing.
yeah. I think he did what he did to finish the season the way a season needs to be finished. That's number one. Number two, you didn't actually answer my question. You answer your own thing that you think that what Trent is good at. Trent, if this is a scenario to play after back, which Liverpool still plays after back from the back, right? So you telling me that Trent is going to be the one that asking for the pass from the center back, right?
Yes.
He's gonna. Okay, if I see that, Mo, I will applaud you, but it will never happen because if if you think that Trent is going to be that, if you man, I just like you press Trent and
What
it's
happened?
done. Oh, I don't know.
No, but he's not going to get pressed. That's the
Oh,
beauty
he's not
of
going to
some
get
players.
pressed.
Yeah, that's the beauty of some players and the systems,
Oh,
that you can actually find. You can get pressed 1-2 a game, but you can find times, most of the time, where you have space. You create the space for yourself. You create the space for yourself when you receive the ball in the right areas of the pitch, to be able to turn and play the pass. That's the.
so
Otherwise, anybody can press anybody. Like
Yes.
Rodri gets pressed twice, 3 times a game. He doesn't get pressed the whole game because a way of playing football is how you press the team back, pin them back to avoid the
No.
press.
Do you know why you only get pressed 2-3 times only a game? Because he's press resistance, and the players know that he's press
So let me
resistant.
explain. So Rodri, sometimes when he pressed, he loses the ball. We remember
Well,
games when
sometimes
Rodri loses the
yeah.
ball. He does, right? I get why you're saying that Trent isn't press resistant, but that's how Klopp is gonna try to
Okay.
find the space for him. That's how I believe it's gonna happen. In my
It's
opinion,
fine.
this is
I
the
just
only
think he's
way
going
it's
back to the
gonna
right.
work. If he goes back to the right, I'm sorry, Liverpool will get attacked from that right. And I'm gonna say it again. If your midfield is Lavia, McAllister, Szoboszlai, it is very strange that you want to go to the season with your main defensive midfielder as a 19 years old. That is a big risk.
Yes, and I agree with you. I agree with you on yet, but that does not convert to go to Trent as a midfielder. I think we still will buy 2 midfielders or something. Somebody in the team.
You'll buy
is gonna
2 midfielders? Maybe. If
Well,
that happens,
they said after Lavia, the Fabinho thing separates it. Like it doesn't. They're already trying to get Lavia regardless of Fabinho's situation. So they're gonna have someone that's gonna come. I think he
I'm
goes
sorry,
back.
I just don't see it. I just don't see a Trent.
go ahead,
I don't
Cass.
see-
I'm sorry.
I think he goes back to 4-3-3. Sometimes he'll tuck in, and sometimes he'll be down the flank, depending on the game. He might not be needed to control the midfield. I don't see it because the thing is, I think Liverpool fans get PTSD with sometimes because they know that their club might not even go out and go buy the player that's required and make them wait till January. And I just don't know if they're going to have enough time to even go out and get. They still haven't even put the Lavia bid in, which he should be put in by this week, should be accepted by this week, and should be a player by next week. But then you got to go get another 2 players. I don't know if I see it yet, but if they don't get a centre back or technically a right back that can cover, Trent, unless they put Joe Gomez there, I just don't know at this moment in time. But I just think they get Lavia. I think they go get a centre back, and they might get an extra midfielder. If not, they'll get an extra one if need be in January.
So by what Mo's saying is going to be Trent, Lavia, and
That I don't think that will work, Alex. You know why? Because Lavia isn't
Trent and
experienced.
Lavia,
That's why I'm saying that they should get a Paulinho. However, we remember that they still have Thiago on the books. Like Tom here is saying some option that I have seen, by the way. McAllister at a 6 and Gakpo as an 8. One of the things that I watched Gakpo do, okay, is that he drops deep. I think Gakpo doesn't have a lot of defensive attributes. That midfield will rely so much that you have 90% of the ball, that you're not getting pressed, that you're not getting attacks, you're not defending. Because once you start defending with that midfield of Szoboszlai, Gakpo, and McAllister, there is no defensive midfielder. There's no Casemiro,
I think he means,
no Partey.
I think he means Lavia and McAllister and Gakpo, not the Trent.
Maybe.
Nah. Not McAllister in a 6 with Gakpo. You get overrun.
I don't think McAllister in the 6. I think Lavia is going to be the 6 if I get him, and McAllister is the one that's going to be the deepest, closest to Lavia, but he's not going to be the deepest one. McAllister is, I actually rate McAllister in that sentence, that he's versatile. I don't rate him going forward as much as people are, but I think he's a versatile midfielder that actually can do good to help the to deepest player.
Yeah. El Lad says Klopp confirmed he ain't playing Trent in the 6. So there you go. It's not going to happen, and it won't happen. It probably will be Szoboszlai and McAllister in front of Lavia as it currently stands, because that's the natural positions. No point trying to force something. It's great that McAllister can defend to a good degree, but I don't think McAllister is going to be the guy that's going to go into a big game and be the defensive mid. I think you still got to stick someone next to him, in a way, and that could work. A double pivot. It doesn't have to be a single pivot. If anyone thought of that, it could work. But yeah, man, I think it'll be a Lavia McAllister maybe pivot, or maybe Szoboszlai in the 10. Could be that. Might not even be a 4-3-3. Might go a little bit, I don't know, less proactive. Klopp. It just depends on the situation. But yeah, and then obviously you got Thiago still that can cover. You got Bajcetic when he comes back from injury. I think he might be now potentially. Oh no, wait. I think, or is he coming at the end of the month? I don't know with Bajcetic's situation. He's had a bit of experience. He's probably got as much experience as Lavia at this point. So yeah.
But that's it. So over 600 people, get us at least to 350 likes. The like button is a free button. It looks like a thumbs up. and it helps the channel move to the next person. So please do that so we can keep doing the free content for you. Also, check out the membership. Again, we'll be announcing the new membership thing soon for the members. It'll be something exciting. You'll be part of Never a Foul. I just gave away something here, but it will be all right. You'll like it. It's really great. Check it in the description. And I think that's it for us today. I don't think we're gonna do more talk. It has been a slow day. Lots of rumors, but nothing concrete happened. Kvaratskhelia, Arsenal,
Chelsea.
all this stuff. For Chelsea, a lot of rumors as well. Nothing concrete other than Colwell signing for you. As I said, the 6-year deal. Here we go. We got it from Fabrizio Romano. But thank you, everybody that tuned in. Thank you, Alex, for being here with us. It was a great show with you. Appreciate it.
Oh yeah,
and guys,
if you stay on here, it will redirect you to Monts. So go show Monts some love if you ain't been on his channel yet. Just stay on here, give him a go, see what he's like, and smash him a like on his video, which will help his video too. So yeah, that's it.
And we'll see you guys soon.